I started off the creative process of this piece by first picking out the song, which is Loveco and Ardy's Elegy for the Arctic. I listened to a few different songs, which none of them felt right and fit how I was feeling in the moment until I listened to Elegy for the Arctic. To me, it has a really good melody, a really good beat, really good dynamics, and I find a mixture of those things helps me choreograph best. So after choosing the song, I listened to it a few different times to try and get the tempo and the dynamics in my head. And then after that, I decided to walk around and start improvising with the song on in the background, as for me this was the best way to start choreographing, because I would do movements that came naturally to me and that would also fit with the song. And then I recorded this improvisation, then I'd watch it back and then pick out particular movements or phrases that I liked and that I felt I could build on and would fit with the song. So after picking out these phrases, I built on them to create phrases and bigger sets of movement that had a lot of content in them. I wanted to play with the idea of keeping my movements within a set space. So on the floor in the studios there are dots marking 1 metre spaces. So I ended up using 3 of these dots, which is 2 metres. So all my movements that would be travelling outwards to the sides would have to stay within this 2 metre block. And it can go as far as it wants, but as long as it stays within the 2 metres. I also wanted to play with the idea of levels, so I tried to act as though the walls were caving in and moving out again, and the same with the floor and the ceiling, as if they were coming down to meet each other and then rising back up. So that's why some of my movements were closer to the floor and then would suddenly sort of have a build in them, because I was playing with this idea of being trapped in a particular space. I actually found it quite difficult being back in a studio again and having a lot of space to choreograph with, because for the past few months I've been working from home where I don't really have a lot of space to do big movements. I've only really got enough space to do arm movements and leg movements and things like that, whereas obviously being in a studio I am able to do bigger movements like leaps and turns and jumps and things like that. So I found it quite daunting having all this space again. But I found, after doing some improv, I actually found it a lot easier to sort of move around the space and fill it up. So I think it is just sort of I needed to get back in the mindset of, okay, you've got this space, what are you going to do with it? I'd say that anytime I'm dancing or choreographing, I'm expressing myself the way that I want to, because dancing for me is my outlet. I found that today I wasn't stressed, I wasn't feeling too great, but then I came into the studio and started improvising, started dancing, and all of them issues I was facing just sort of went away, and I felt a lot more relaxed and a lot more free and more myself.